visit.
Yeah.
So just like his father in 2000, it seems Kim Jong-un decided to welcome the South Korean president who's coming to Pyongyang via the airport. Now they're hugging,
warm embrace.
each other.
They do look genuinely pleased to see each other again. Last time they saw each other was back in May, so going on 4 months. Ri Sol-ju and the South Korean First Lady as well engaged in a warm conversation, smiles all round, very cordial, and everyone seems to be on good terms ahead of what is likely to be a big summit. But at least at this current time, it's smiles all round. We don't know what Kim Jong-un is thinking about, but it's nice to see that the two Koreas are at this point together where we can see these warm scenes between the leaders of the two Koreas.
And North Korean children delivering flower to the first couple.
This is the first time we've ever seen anything like this in 11 years, a South Korean leader coming to Pyongyang for an inter-Korean summit. The weather seems to have accommodated them as well. It seems like a lovely early autumn day there in Pyongyang. Lots of music going on, big smiles from Kim Jong-un's sister. They must have got to have known each other fairly well during the Pyeongyang Winter Olympics when she was over for several days to watch that.
And she actually invited President Moon over to Pyongyang.
Every detail about this trip. Can you see any way in which it hasn't been agreed that North Korea must not divert from the official schedule?
Remember that the details about the schedule has not been hammered out until the last minute, so I'm sure there are a lot of scurrying around.
He won't want to be put into any embarrassing situations.
No, I don't think so. I think he will handle it well. If anything, they have developed this personal chemistry.
Yeah.
So I think that if it comes to that, they'll wing it pretty well.
Right. Well, we saw in the Pyeongyang summit when they took that walk along the bridge and sat down on the bench, Jung-hee, and they had that long conversation for about 40 minutes. There is some talk that potentially something like that may happen again in Pyongyang. There is an area in Pyongyang, if I'm correct in saying, where the two leaders might look to get away from prying eyes and ears to have a one-on-one chat. They have plenty to talk about.
Right, so a potential place for that is the Baekdu State Guest House. It's where the previous presidents who visited Pyongyang also stayed and had their summits with the North Korean leader Kim Jong-il. President Moon is expected to be staying there as well. And according to what we've been learning, that there is a spot within that guest house where there's a forest and the Taedonggang River also flows along.
And a bit of laughter as well. Just a reminder, if you are joining us, you're watching the ongoing coverage we have here on South Korea's international broadcaster Arirang.
Korea's interest to continue to have dialogue with the United States. That means that North Korean leader is not going to say anything negative for the negotiation with the United States. So I think that even if we don't get any concrete positive message, but at the same time, we are not going to get the negative message from North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
Right, I kind of agree with that because in a sense, we know that Moon's special envoy to North Korea, Chung Eui-yong, when he was in Pyongyang this month, right? He said that Mr. Kim reaffirmed his commitment to denuclearize. So, in a sense, we're a little bit confused. I mean, where is this going, right? I mean, he's saying he's willing to denuclearize. He even mentioned a timeline we heard from our special envoy that Mr. Kim plans to, go ahead with this denuclearization process before Trump's first term ends, right? So this was the first time that North Korea has actually put forth a timeline as well, which kind of raised hopes that perhaps things will get back on track. But obviously, Mr. Moon, our president, has a lot on his shoulders, and a lot of eyes are on what's going to come out. Although you said that, Dr. Woo, you said that you don't expect anything concrete to come out this time, meaning that perhaps you're expecting something vague to come out than just specific detailed measures, I guess.
Since our special envoy briefed the media and the public that Chairman Kim Jong-un mentioned that he's willing to denuclearize by the end of President Trump's first term, which is the end of 2020.
Right.
South Korean President Moon Jae-in playing the mediator. It's a tough job, of course, and just as President Moon and his team may be ready to try and help North Korea and the U.S. Meet halfway, it's possible that North Korea has already prepared ways to respond to such suggestions.
Right. North Korea may have some suggestions about what they could do to push ahead on the issue of denuclearization so that the U.S. can make its own compromise on their front. But I think North Korea is looking for President Moon to largely advocate on their side for their position, that the U.S. needs to really make some concessions here that will allow them to move forward on denuclearization. So the end of war declaration would be one way to do that. The other, obviously, is to try to get some partial sanctions relief, if it's at all possible, if not complete sanctions relief. Again, whether any of this is possible, we'll have to see, because President Moon, right after this summit, is going to the UN General Assembly meeting in New York, where some of these issues, including international sanctions, can be discussed. So I think that the timing is really good for President Moon and also Kim Jong-un to set this up for sanctions relief of some kind.
Right, and we're looking at the footage right now coming in. It's at the Workers' Party headquarters, and it looks like President Moon Jae-in is signing a guest log. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un left a message that implied that they want to meet again soon, and possibly something similar is being written by President Moon Jae-in and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un posing for photos and constantly exchanging pleasantries, and who knows, these kind of small talks might lead to something more substantial in the long run. And also present at the venue was, I believe that was Kim Yo-jung, right, Ji-won, the North Korea's Deputy Director of Propaganda and Education Department of Workers' Party of Korea, and also the sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
I've met President Moon Jae-in 3 times now, and this time we met in spring, and this time we are meeting again in autumn here in Pyeongyang. And our encounter today is very fitting with today's season, autumn. And I am very delighted to welcome President Moon to Pyongyang. And we are all welcoming him. And we have high hopes that we can achieve great achievements. And I think it is also the same with our citizens. We met 3 times now, just this year. And this time, I felt that we've become really closer. And we have become closer. And there was also a very big accomplishment that has been made. It was all possible thanks to the ceaseless efforts put forth by President Moon Jae-in. The inter-Korean relations, as well as North Korea-US relations, have also improved greatly. And the historic North-US summit was all able thanks to President Moon Jae-in. It was a very historic moment, And it's not an exaggeration to say that the historic encounter between the North and the US was possible thanks to the efforts of President Moon. And we hope that we will have great progress made between the North and the US. And the citizens of Pyongyang also have high hopes. And I once again highly praise the efforts put forth by President Moon Jae-in.
First of all, Chairman Kim Jong-un and First Lady Lee Seol-ju, thank you for the fervent hospitality shown by the Pyongyang citizens. It was so much more than we have expected, and I am deeply grateful for this. This was more than what we have expected. The spring of Panmunjom led to the autumn of Pyongyang. We have met 3 times over the past 5 months. And looking back on our journey, we had the Pyeongchang Winter Olympic Games, and before this event, we had Chairman Kim's New Year's address. And in that address, we saw the bold decision of Chairman Kim. The inter-Korean relations and the North Korea and U.S. relations, we are seeing the new era opening before our eyes. And the progress we made so far was possible due to Chairman Kim's determination. And on my way here, I looked around Pyongyang City Center to notice the surprising development Pyongyang has made. Greeneries were easily spotted everywhere in the mountains. And I pay my respect to Chairman Kim's leadership to enhance the lives of the people despite the difficult conditions. And today, together with Chairman Kim, the fact that we are opening a new era of the Korean Peninsula, I have my expectations high and I am very excited. Meanwhile, I feel keenly the heavy weight on our shoulders and the sense of duty. And with this heavy sense of duty, I am here sitting at the table for our summit meeting. And I hope that the summit will bear fruitful results for the 80 million people of the 2 Koreas, especially marking the national Chuseok holidays. I hope this will be a present for the people of Korea. And the world is watching our meeting, and I hope to show the fruits of peace and prosperity to the people around the world. Thank you very much.
So the 2 leaders are signing an agreement. We don't know what it is yet. We think that both leaders are going to speak and describe what they have agreed to. Kim Jong-un's sister Kim Yo-jong is taking care of her brother, and here come the 2 leaders now for another photo together. Well, we can't make out what that says, but...
친애하는 여러분,
Ladies and gentlemen,
국관함 해외 동포 형제 자매들,
companions of 2 Koreans, the Panmunjom Declaration has yielded great results, and the 2 leaders President Moon Jae-in and I have signed the historic September Pyongyang Joint Declaration. The April 27th Panmunjom Declaration has become the groundwork of our historic development and the joint declaration, and we have now opened a new era for peace and prosperity on the Korean Peninsula to usher in an era of peace. And taking this very historic and significant occasion, I would like to highly appraise the efforts made by President Moon Jae-in and the delegates of the South Korea. The leaders of the South and North Koreas have made efforts, and I would like to extend all of my gratitude to all of the people and the compatriots of the two Koreas. This year, the two Koreas have jointly held hands to walk towards a peace through the Olympics, Pyeongchang Olympics, and we have felt great fever and peace. And making this as the groundwork, we have planted seeds of peace and prosperity, which have been blossomed and ripened into fruits in this autumn. And the wordings that we have written on the Panmunjom Declaration have become reality. We have extended great talks with President Moon Jae-in, and we have looked upon and reflected upon the achievements made so far. We will accelerate the development of the inter-Korean talks and reconciliation, and we have held very candid talks. The destiny of our people lies in our hands is the principle that we had at hand, and we aimed to accelerate and upgrade the level of inter-Korean relations, and we have made agreements. We have had decades of tragic confrontations and tragic history, but today we adopted a military agreement to make a nuclear-free Korean peninsula. We will strive efforts to make this end. We will increase contract and cooperation, dialogue, and exchanges in all corners so that our dialogue towards reunification will never be backtracked. Today, with President Moon Jae-in and I signed the September Pyongyang Joint Declaration, which entail all of these valuable promises. The declaration itself is not lengthy, but it is full of hopes and the wishes of our people who long for peace and unification. Ladies and gentlemen, we may be encountering many challenges going forward. We will be encountering many challenges and difficulties. However, as we overcome such difficulties and challenges, we will become stronger. And becoming stronger, we will make a more stronger nation. And thus, there is nothing to be afraid of. The world has witnessed a divided Korean peninsula, and it will witness how our people make our own destiny and history. President Moon Jae-in and I have promised President Moon Jae-in to visit Seoul as soon as possible. We will end the sorrowful history of division and heal the wounds of our people to go forward to peace and prosperity. We will always hold hands in the front. The significant and meaningful encounter here in Pyongyang has made possible due to the efforts put forth by President Moon Jae-in and the South Korean delegations. Thank you very much. Today's summit was also welcomed by many people abroad, and I extend my gratitude to all of you. Thank you very much.
People of North Korea, people of South Korea, compatriots overseas, a war-free Korean peninsula has unfolded before our eyes. Today, the two Koreas, we agreed on eliminating all threats that are existing across the peninsula. We are going to operate a joint military committee that will be able to hold talks about these military measures. The armistice agreement in 1953 led us to have a halt on the war. However, there was the threat that was lingering on the people of Korea. There were unseen barriers between the neighbors that we had to live with, but with this lasting peace on the Korean peninsula, I believe that our lives will be back to normal. The threat of war and the ideology conflict was what we were witnessing until now. However, we are ridding of all this as of today, and I am overwhelmed to announce this fact in front of you. We also agreed on measures to denuclearize, which is very meaningful. North Korea, the Dongchangni engine test phase will be closed permanently in the presence of inspectors from overseas, and additional measures like eradicating Yongbyon-ni test site will take place as well. This is very meaningful, and I am very happy to announce this fact. The Korean Peninsula, the complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula is now very near, and will happen in the near future. And to this end, we will closely cooperate. Our role has also become more heavy. The support of the people is what we really need. The people of Korea, the Panmunjom Declaration, after this declaration, we have seen significant changes around the Korean Peninsula and transformations. The two leaders of Korea came together, and the head of North Korea as well as U.S. President came to one table to discuss about future measures. And the U.S. and Korea joint military drill was also suspended, and joint liaison office was established, where we are seeing the new era of frequent talks being held. These are the tangible results that we're seeing. The longing for peace and reconciliation has never stopped. This is taking its pace. It is unraveling at its own pace, and this is what we are witnessing today. The 80 million people's minds together, we are opening up the new era of peace. And this road will lead to the complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Chairman Kim and I, today, we talked about the exchanges of the two Koreas that will be implemented and enhanced, and we talked about tangible measures to realize this.
Within this year, the two Koreas will establish and we will start the construction of the West-East Road. The Kumgang Mountain tour will be resuscitated, and to prevent the pandemic or epidemic, we are going to cooperate in the front of welfare and medical sector. In 2023, the Summer Olympics, we are going to pitch for the joint for the bid to jointly hold the Summer Olympics. And we are also going to hold joint art performances in October next year. I requested Chairman Kim to visit Seoul, and he said he will visit Seoul in the near future. In the near future means that if nothing unexpected appears, it will be within this year. Chairman Kim's visit to Seoul will be the first leader of North Korea in South Korea, and this will be a significant turning point in the inter-Korean relations. My fellow Koreans, Chairman Kim showed clearly the way to denuclearization, a war-free and nuclear-free Korean peninsula. And he is responding to the hopes of the international community. I deeply commend his courageous and brave resolve. The inter-Korean relations will be strong. And I hope the talks between North Korea and U.S. will be revived as soon as possible. I hope the summit talks between the U.S. and North Korea will resume soon, and hope that they can find an agreement, they can find a point of agreement. During this year, we have planted the seed of peace, and now we are seeing the fruits of this seed. Thank you very much.
Okay, that was the handshake, and those were the statements from Kim Jong-un. We heard from him first. It was rather...
And we're now getting footage of course, President Moon Jae-in and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un attending this luncheon. Let's, if we take a look at their expressions, I still feel President Moon Jae-in's expression is perhaps a little more muted than when they met the previous two times, of course, in April and in May.
You seem very skeptical, Jang-ho. Very grave.
I'm not sure skeptical is right, but I'm just explaining what I'm seeing.
Remember, this is not his turf. Mr. Kim Jong-un is on his own turf. That's why he feels so familiar with everything, the people and the street. But Mr. Moon, President Moon, it's quite natural for him to feel a little bit unfamiliar with all the things around him.
Because, I mean, when the two leaders met in April, I mean, there was the signing, even the signing felt very different. There was lots of smiles, big hugs, and a raising of hands like they were cheering. But this time it was very much formal, very much handshakes, and even an awkward goodbye at the end when they left the room separately. I don't know, maybe I am being skeptical, Lee Ji-won, but that's just what I'm seeing. But yes, so here we are, the footage. I guess they're about to be served with the naengmyeon cold noodles. That's also the President Moon Jae-in's wife. While the two leaders were having their meeting, I understand the wives were doing a different activity. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure, Jang-ho. Well, in fact, we thought Lee Sol-ju was also accompanying South Korean First Lady Kim Jong-suk today, but that is not what I heard. The South Korea's First Lady Kim Jong-suk and the other South Korean delegates, they visited Mangyongdae School Children's Palace, and that's an institution for extracurricular activities such as music, foreign languages, taekwondo, and sports. And that is also where our former South Korean President Kim Dae-jung and his First Lady Lee Hee-ho visited back in 2000 to watch a performance on their second day.
So that's, again, yes, where Kim Dae-jung, the former president, went in the year 2000. That was the first inter-Korean summit ever between the two Koreas, and also the first time in Pyongyang. Dr. Kim, I just wanted to ask you, looking back at today's and yesterday's events, we are very much reminded of Kim Dae-jung's visits as well. There were lots of familiarities,
because of the golden leaves, and it means prosperity. Here, the North Korean officials that attended said that given the special meaning of the tree, that they decided to use it. It says with the autumn breeze, it leads to the abundant harvest of grains and fruit, and they wish that this year is also like a lump of gold, and that it's the first phase of unification.
Unlike the initial ceremony they held, which is becoming protocol routine from what they'd had in South Korean side of the Panmunjom, this time North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is not present at the event.
Yes, he was not present at the event.
That will be Choi Ryong-hae?
Yes, Choi Ryong-hae instead. So this was held at the place where President Moon Jae-in was staying. Now that is the state guest house, the Baekhawan State Guest House. So after lunch, he went there, and we can see this. Now, back in 2007, then President Roh Moo-hyun watched the Arirang mass gymnastics, which you said earlier, but this kind of drew domestic criticism because of the propaganda measures. So the presidential office said the contents could be edited, so because we've seen this in the past.
Right, but we've already seen heavily.
Citizens of Pyongyang City, compatriots and brothers living in the north, it's so meaningful and overwhelming to meet you here in Pyongyang. As the president of South Korea, and as introduced by Chairman Kim Jong-un, I am now giving you a message, and I'm very much overwhelmed by this opportunity. We have now ushering in a new era together.
Fellow Koreans, together with Chairman Kim, we met at Panmunjom on April 27th, where we embraced each other. The two leaders of the two Koreas agreed that there will be no more war on the peninsula, and we declared in front of the 80 million Koreans and in front of the whole world that there will be no more on the Korean peninsula. Also, the destiny of our people will be determined by us, and this is the principle of self-reliance that we reaffirmed. The inter-Korean relations will see a groundbreaking improvement, and it will reconnect the line and the connection that we lost for a long time, and this was what we agreed upon very firmly. Also, in addition to that, during this autumn, we promised that I myself will come to Pyongyang. Citizens of Pyongyang, my fellow compatriots, together with Chairman Kim, I agreed today that we are going to completely eradicate military tensions and dangers of war from the Korean Peninsula. Also from Mount Paektu to Mount Halla, the beautiful motherland of Korean Peninsula will be turned into a peaceful place, and this will be what we will be handing down to our next generations. And before it's too late, we are going to fundamentally do away with the sorrows of the separated families. Together with myself, Chairman Kim has made resolute determinations, and your leader, Chairman Kim, I would like to ask for your enthusiastic applause to your leader, Chairman Kim. Citizens of Pyongyang, compatriots overseas, during this visit, I was overwhelmed by the advancement Pyongyang has made. Together with the citizens and the people of North Korea and Chairman Kim, I witnessed your passion towards the development of the country, and I could feel your need and your longing for peace on this peninsula, and the unwavering courage that you are going to advance and develop your country. Fellow Koreans, we are strong. We love peace. And also, we should live together. We lived here for the past 5,000 years, and we were separated for the last 70 years. Today in Pyongyang, I propose that we set our feet forward to the new era of peace, doing away with hostilities and animosity. Chairman Kim and I will hold our hands firmly with the 80 million Koreans and make a new country. Please, let's go forward to our new Korean Peninsula. Today, so many citizens of Pyongyang, the students, the youths, the performances that you prepared for myself and our delegations, and the wonderful performance that you have shown, I Thank you very much for this. Thank you.
And we're witnessing history tonight. President Moon Jae-in of South Korea just addressed for the very first time the North Korean people directly. A very resolute speech full of themes of brotherhood and unity between the two Koreas and his era of peace. An era of peace between South and North Korea, he says, has begun. He and Chairman Kim Jong-un of North Korea agreed to remove the threat of war, addressing the North Korean people as compatriots and brothers, and themes of self-reliance.
This is a footage that has not been seen before. We don't know what to expect. This was of the events this morning of the two leaders visiting Paektu Mountain, one of the most important mountains in Korean history.
So that is the Samjian Airport nearby the Mount Paektu.
So they arrived at Samjian Airport, where before they made their way to the mountain early this morning. So here we see them. We did see photos of their arrival, but here we're seeing videos of this. So we don't know what to expect. But
so I believe when we saw the photos earlier, we saw that South Korea's Foreign Minister Kang Kyung-hwa, Unification Minister Cho Myung-kyun, and all the other ministers, in fact, that accompanied.
As I said, this footage we are getting is in all sorts of different order because these are coming in raw footage. So they're coming in different orders. We saw earlier the President Moon Jae-in and Kim Jong-un arriving at Samjian Airport to go to Paektu Mountain. Images we're seeing right now.
How deep is Cheonji Lake? 325 meters deep. There are a lot of mythical myths about the Paektu Mountain, and there were fairies from the sky. 9 fairies came down and they took bath because the water is so clear, and they went up to the sky. And I think this is again another myth, and we are dipping the new brush for a new history in the Cheonji Lake. And going forward, we can write new history in inter-Korean relations. And as I came here, I think I wrote new history. I addressed the Pyongyang citizens. Your address was very moving. Let's make Paektu our land. I think when we met earlier in April 27, I told you numerous times, there was this boom to go to the Paektu Mountain, and a lot of people went through the Chinese route, and a lot of people are still going. And I made clear that I would not visit the Paektu Mountain through China, but through our own territory. That was my resolution back then, and I thought that this time would come, but it also felt like a distant. But I finally made my dream come true.
So we have the South delegation here. And I believe that in the future, maybe the overseas people can come as well. So since the separation of the two countries, a lot of people probably missed seeing this place. That is true. So from now on, we have taken the first step. So once these steps are repeated, then more people will come here. And even maybe the citizens of South Korea could tour to the Mount Paektu, and I believe that it will come soon.
Well, firstly, to mention, to talk about the footage right now, while they were walking down the path, because it has a slope, the First Ladies had a hard time walking down. And we could see that the North Korean First Lady Lee Sol-ju was actually holding on to South Korean First Lady Kim Jong-suk. And I think that also further adds to our view that the First Ladies have gotten really close as well. And we can still see them talking as they come behind the presidents.
This trip has been a very good opportunity for the two First Ladies to really get to know each other. 3 days and pretty much spent side by side the whole time.
You're all wet. Are there a lot of fish inside the lake? Yes, there are a lot of species. And there are a lot of fish actually caught in this area. And in the spring, we have this specific trees. And when you go to the Tangungbong Peak, we can see the Hala Mountain. That's what we say. When you look at our peninsula, everything connects from the Paektu Mountain, so there is the Paektu Range. From Cheonji to Baeknokdam in Hala Mountain. So I think the Paektu Range, there are some damages done in some areas, but I think we need to restore this range.
So, if I can say, we've never seen such a clear weather on the Paektu Mountain these days. It seems like only when Chairman Kim comes we get a very clear weather. So this shows that he is the owner of this Paektu Mountain. So even the weather forecast clearly shows when the temperature is going down, when the rain is coming. That's why we have told you that maybe it might not be possible. Well, when President Moon comes, it's also a clear weather. So I heard that in the South Korea it's raining today. And it's very windy, right? So what about over there? Can we go up there? I think it will take like 3 to 4 hours. I don't think we can go up there. So for the cable car, I don't think you should make more. So I think we should have limited people entering here so that we can conserve the nature here. So this is the Paektu Mountain. So this is showing the true nature of Paektu Mountain. It's very hard to come up here actually. So when the Chinese people come here, it's very hard for them to go down as well. So you're showing a very good view here. So it's a different view on this side. So what about over there? You can see something over there as well, right? So there's something white over there you can see. So way over there. So the water is very clear. So this is the sky water. So this is the water from sky. So the water tastes really good. It's really good.
잠시만요.
So you should really taste the water. So there are insects here as well. So they become the feed for the fishes here. So their fish is around 80 centimeter long here. Can't go back any further. So we'll take a picture now.